It always keeps you on your toes, right? The bull doesn't want to stay there all the time.
I never knew, like blackfall is on the station.
Rally the boys, load up the cargo and start your engines. This is wild bull catching in the top end. A rough and ready occupation that has a Wild West feel to it. We're searching bushland for scrub bulls on 7 Emu Station, which skirts the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's magic, albeit tough country. As the chopper dives and spins erratically, hustling the beast towards a group who are ready to pounce in their small modified rigs that would look at home on a Mad Max set. At high speeds, they churn through the bushland, dodging trees, stumps and termite mounds, branches swatting low, heading towards one angry and determined animal. A tradition hailing back to the early 1960s in the Northern Territory, where throwing a bull was a common exercise. Behind the wheel is Clary Shadforth. He runs 7 Emu Station after taking over from his dad and grandfather before him. Like his own offspring, he was bull catching from the moment he could walk.
But they never had bull catching. They used to hand throw bulls and that.
Dangerous enough as it is.
Yeah. And we think we got it hard, but I reckon they had it harder. But yeah.
Clary's son Francis and Wade also bear that innate cattle skill. They're on school holidays and in their element. 14-year-old Francis is the self-confessed bushy of the two and has been earmarked to take over. What do you love about it?
Everything. Mastering, bull catching, fencing and all that.
Even fencing?
Yeah.
The Shadforths bear impressive pastoral lineage. Grandfather William Shadforth in 1953 became the first Indigenous person in Australia to own a cattle station. The perpetual pastoral lease is entirely owned by the family and will remain that way if they have anything to say about it. The property was obtained in a story that sings of Australian folklore.
My dad bought it in 53. The story goes that he went droving and on the way through to Alice Spring he backed a horse in a Caulfield Cup. 2 weeks later he came back and backed a horse in the Melbourne Cup and won him some money with the droving trip and Melbourne Cup. That's how he bought 7 Emu. He made 10,000 quid, I think.
Frank is Willie's son and says it was an extraordinary achievement at a time when discrimination against Indigenous people was still rife.
When you read about Aboriginal history, how he got hold of it, I don't know, and to me, I still don't know.
Willie Shadforth died in his late 80s, and Frank Shadforth took over running it successfully for many decades. He's now passed the mantle to his son.
What, you got a few bulls there?
3 good fellas and a smaller Mickey fella.
A signal from helicopter pilot Chris Howard, and it's on. Closing in until with an almighty thud, the scrub bull is trapped. As a hydraulic arm locks its shoulders, while the young stockmen desert the rig with pace and face down the beast, on foot. Their mission? To lasso a rope onto the cranky, frothing 300-kilogram beast, who's none too happy about his predicament. "21-year-old Stockman Edward Hookie makes it look easy.
Oh, just go with it. Yeah, my first ball catch was pretty fun. You know, adrenaline rush. Yeah, it always keeps you on your toes though, you know. You know, the ball doesn't want to stay there all the time. But yeah, it's fun.
He's been here for about 4 years and is enjoying being able to pass on his skills to some of the newer recruits.
I've worked in Brahma cattle. That's very much different. Quieter cattle and a lot easier to handle stuff. But this sort of work is a bit different. You see cattle that's never seen human in their life, very feral. And then, yeah, it's a lot of fun, you know, because you learn different ways of it. And then, yeah.
It all seems like a boy's own adventure novel, this rough and ready lifestyle. But what Frank and Clary Shadforth are doing is really quite remarkable. Sick of seeing generation after generation come through the welfare cycle, they've taken in hundreds of young people over the years, giving them station work, teaching them basic life and stockman skills, and helping to turn their lives around.
I've been doing it for a fair while, and the problem is, I think a lot of people lose, a lot of family don't like looking after kids. I think they just get tied up with what's happening there, technology or whatever you like to call it, and they like to be in town. They don't live the normal life no more because there's too much drugs, and you see it makes you sad really. And I think a lot of people should start, we wonder why we got stupid kids, because the parents, and you know, I'm a parent, but I mean, other parents should spend more time with your kids and try and educate kids. It doesn't matter what kid it is. I think a lot of kid needs that hand to guide along there.
They take a tough love approach and are not a recognised or formal program. They get no funding for the venture, and kids come to them through word of mouth.
It doesn't matter, it's any sort of kid, it have to be work. And none of this weekend business, 7 days a week. To do 2, 3 weeks or 6 weeks, and you let them go for a week, and they come back, and they enjoy it then.
Many of their young charges have gone on to work on other stations and make a successful life in the industry.
There's a few good ones in them. And, yeah, they stick it out for a while, but it's just, you know, good to give someone, I suppose, just a help in life. Yeah.
18-year-old Zane Butler is one of those kids. He's from Mount Isa in northwest Queensland and has been working on 7 Emu property for a few weeks.
I've been on parole since I was 13, I think. Yeah.
What type of offences?
Robberies, burglaries, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Do you get caught in the wrong crowd or?
Yeah, just caught peer pressure, you know. Yeah.
He just wishes he'd found Frank and Clary earlier.
If I'd have got out on station younger, man, I'd have been a hard-working man. Yeah.
And he's in awe of the Indigenous men who've taken him under their wing.
Yeah, it is. I never knew, you know, like black fellas on the station. Shit, yeah.
As the sun starts to fade, we're still out in the bush. It'll be at least a 12-hour day for the boys. It's a hard, in many ways, relentless life. But the beauty is profound. A setting, it's any wonder, inspires change in people. A legacy now tracking 6 decades that Frank Shadforth hopes continues well beyond his tenure.
I just hope the Christ they have the nerve to keep carrying on. I think they will carry on the way we are carrying on. The staying power, the resilience of it, yeah, just keep going. Because my dad, I mean, well, they are proud of me, their grandfather, and, you know, it's something that we should be really, you shouldn't sell it just because of what he done. I mean, he's 1 in a million, I suppose, in a sense, yeah, to get to where he is, and to have it for so long, and yeah. That's the legacy I'd like to see it carried on.
A station that merges a fine line between a deep-rooted respect for culture, intertwined with common sense and good old-fashioned grounding, that's saving young lives and making real change.